presented this. So, when we talk about the basis of everything, that everything is a very crucial term. Everything means the whole creation. Nothing is left out. Everything, quote unquote, everything, all that looks like a thing is called everything. And one's own existence is the being. It's not a thing. The one who is the presence of one's, the one who has to be there behind everything is the being. Mind is a thing. Thing means one of the things. There is no such a thing called that thing. That thing means when we talk about a given thing as important thing, then we say it is that thing. Otherwise, everything is a given thing. Even the most important thing also is a given thing. If somebody comes, he is a very important person. I say he is one of the persons. You may look upon him as important. In a given situation, he is very important. Out of that situation, he is nobody. ये तो होता है. Like a retired Prime Minister, what is he? Or better still, the retired President of India. वो तो ऑफिस में होते हुए भी कुछ भी नहीं है. रिटायरमेंट के बाद क्या होता है? कुछ भी नहीं है. Therefore, every person is just one of them. Therefore, if we are talking about the source of everything, it cannot be one of the things. It has to be the being. If there has to be a source of everything, that source has to be the being. And the being is one's existence. The only detail that can just be is one's being. And therefore, we cannot interpret the source of everything. We can't interpret the locus of everything as matter or as the mind. Mind cannot be the locus of everything. Matter itself cannot be the source of the matter. वो तो गलत है. That which is not matter is the source of matter. Any matter that is available all comes under the word matter. Matter means all the matter that is available. Manifest matter, unmanifest matter, visible matter, invisible matter, the entire matter, close matter, distant matter, no matter, which matter is that? All matter has one given source, and that source cannot be another matter. It has to be conscious being. Therefore, conscious being is the source of everything. Therefore, our existence, this is the we understand, we strike depths into what we are. The more we think of our existence in terms of just being. Even the thinker, if you give your attention a little more to the thinker is not a doing, he is only essentially just being. You are only there. Because even if before one begins the volition or the willing, he is amazing. Existence is independent of thinking. And therefore, we have analyzed this particular sentence. Yasmin Devo Prithvi Chantariksham Otam Manaha Saha Pranaishcha Sarvai Tamevaikamatmanam Vijanatha Amritasya Setu Anya Vacho Vimuchyata Amritasya Setu. This is the Vakya in Mundaka Shruti, and that Mundaka Shruti, the meaning of it is, what is that Setu? That which connects you to your freedom is what? connects you to your freedom is your nature. It is the nature. Is it not understanding? Understanding my nature connects to my freedom. But understanding will be there only when there is something to be understood. You see, the information that eating appeases your hunger, that information doesn't appease your hunger, food appeases your hunger. Similarly, the information, the Vedanta doesn't connect me to freedom. My nature connects me to my freedom. But I need to understand, because even a reality until it is understood is useless. A very, very important thing in life. Even a reality is useless unless it is understood. Unless it is understood, it is useless. Meaning I can't benefit from it. A reality ununderstood cannot benefit me. A truth ununderstood cannot benefit me. The truth is I have the money, but I don't know I have the money sometimes. My grandfather has left a lot of money in my name. My grandfather has left a lot of money in my name. My grandfather has left a lot of money in my name. Suppose, not my grandfather. Don't think, oh, Swamiji's grandfather has left. So, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Supposing a person's grandfather has left a lot of money in his name, but he doesn't know. Can't help him. The prince, by birth he is a prince, but he doesn't know he is the prince. Then Karna was a Kshatriya. This is the classical example. But he didn't know he was Kshatriya. And that Mataji Kunti told him when all is over. जब पूरा खत्म हो गया, says, you are my son. Why didn't you tell one up before? This is the problem. Therefore, however bitter the truth is, you better own it up. It is better to own the truth. It is better to own the truth, even if it is bitter. Okay. Your willingness to own it makes it sweet. Your willingness to own the truth makes the truth sweet. Similarly, this Gadwali, that what is his name? That man, old man, at the age of 90, Tibadi. He had a son through another woman. And then he kept, and then the son was telling, my father is so and so minister. He says, no, I don't have a son, vagera. And when he was 90 plus, and there was nobody to lift him, and then owns up his old wife. Ye kya baat hai? These are all untruths. At least, you could have owned her up much before so that she could have served you. You could have given her better education, him better education. सता के बाद में सत्य बोलने से क्या फायदा जी? सता के पूरा अंत में सत्य बोल. Therefore, Karna was a Kshatriya, but he didn't know. Ignorance of a reality is of no use. Unless I know the truth may be great. He may be a Kshatriya by birth. In those days, royal birth was royal birth, very highly valued. They were the rulers. But he didn't know he had a royal birth. He suffered. Similarly, Brahman doesn't know that I am Brahman. Yes, when I don't know that I am indeed a peaceful being, I suffer. That is why the Shastra comes and says you don't have to suffer. There is no need for you to suffer, provided you know the truth about yourself. There is a beautiful truth about you, a wonderful truth about you. The truth about you is the truth about the whole universe. Therefore, that makes the Shastra very high value. Shastra is the greatest value. This is over the... Now we are going to see another topic. Bhumam. Bhumadikaranam. This is what we have to see. Bhumam. Samprasadat. Adi. Upadeshat. Bhuma. Here the word Bhuma that comes in Samaveda and Chandogya Shruti. Bhuma Shabda comes in Chandogya Shruti. In the 7th Adhyaya, during the while Sanat Kumara was teaching Narada, when Sanat Kumara, the sage Sanat Kumara was teaching Narada about Brahma Vidya, he uses the term Bhuma. Now there is a discussion. What does this Bhuma mean actually? Bhuma means big. Does Bhuma mean just big? Does Bhuma mean just something great? Or does it mean Brahman? Brahman is something different from something big. The big, you know. In this waking state, the space is the biggest. You see, space is the biggest. Space is the subtlest. And I can also say all these things cannot be felt without the breath. So the breath also is something big. If I don't have the breath, I can't even think of space. So life seems to be the biggest. Space is very big, huge. But breath is no less. Therefore, does Bhuma mean just this almighty breath? Does Bhuma mean just the almighty breath? Or does Bhuma mean this huge space? Or does Bhuma mean that which drives man perennially? Desire? Hope? Hope seems to be the almighty in creation, because minus hope there is no life. Without hope you can't, even the breath stops. Apne aap. Supposing you give up hope, then you just start dying. Yes. That is why when the doctors give up the hope, the patient comes to know the doctors have given up the hope, he would start sinking. Acha hone par bhi start sinking. Yes. Asha seems to be the almighty phenomenon. The hope to be happy in time. The hope to get what I want. The hope, Asha, is also a mighty phenomenon. Breath is a mighty phenomenon. Space is a mighty phenomenon. Is it one of these mighty phenomenons that is called? That is the meaning of the word Bhuma? Or Bhuma means not one of the mighty things, it is the truth of all the small and mighty things. You see, this is the which has thinking in terms of volume makes no sense at all in the context of the truth. And we cannot think except in terms of volume. Whereas silence has no volume. One's existence has no volume, because every volume falls in your sight. And what is the volume of the sight? Mountain has a big volume, it falls in your knowledge. And what is the volume of that knowledge? And within the same knowledge falls the moon. Within the same knowledge falls the sun. Within the same knowledge falls the universe. And the volume of that knowledge, that sight, that conscious, that knowledge is one's existence. It is not your possession. Our awareness is not our possession. Awareness is our being. To bridge this gap will take a few years. Yes. It's very, very important to understand. Our being is not a noun with awareness as an adjective. Our being is not a noun with awareness as an adjective. No, awareness is our being. Me, the whole me is the sight. The conscious sight is me. But wrapped in the form and the thought, etc., it looks like a given individual. The knowledge wrapped up, knowledge wrapped in the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, the form and thinking, wrapped in faculties, etc. It looks like Mr. So-and-so, but he has no volume, it is just a sight. It is only knowledge. Therefore, evidently truth has no volume, but our habit is to think of everything in terms of a volume. That is why this topic comes here. Vedavyasa says human beings are in the habit of thinking in terms of volumes. They are used to wondering at volumes. Hugeness. Oh, Bhagavan also they think in terms of mightiness. Bhagavan is mighty. So if Bhagavan did not lift Govardhan, the number of flowers you will be offering will be less. Is it not? Therefore Govardhan increases the number of flowers. Oh, Bhagavan lifted Govardhan. Aur thoda phool de do. We worship the mighty. We think the happiness lies in the mighty. We think peace lies in the volume. This is the general trend of thinking. That is why the word Bhuma, this topic comes here. Does the Bhuma mean the almighty breath? Does the Bhuma mean the almighty hope? Or does the Bhuma mean the almighty space? Or does the Bhuma mean something else which is almighty? Almighty matter, etc., etc. This creation is full of mighty things. Mighty things. Mighty Ashoka, the mighty emperor. Because we are so small, anything bigger attracts our attention. Now here the analysis is, the Mimamsa says, Bhuma means Brahman. It's not huge. It is a silent presence which is the truth of the small and big. Bhuma, the first sutra. Bhuma. And the connection is going on, Ekshaderna Shabda. Fifth sutra onwards, the connection is coming. The Parameshwara is, Bhuma is Parameshwara. It's like saying, Rama was a mighty king, he was avatara. And then whatever you say, great. Who is great? Rama is great. Good. Rama is good. But Rama has the, what we call, like Sarva Shri. First one is called Shri. Shri, so and so. Shri Sundaram, you say. And then afterwards, Shri applies to everybody. As everybody applies, everybody takes the Shri. In the same manner, Bhuma. The Brahman is Bhuma. The meaning, the connotation of the word Bhuma is Ishvara, Brahman. Is he mighty? Yeah, it is. He is almighty. Mighty in the sense he is the source of the big and the small. And if he is the source of the big and the small, he doesn't present to your sight. Your sight is the truth. Because anything that presents to our sight has to be small or big. How to manage it? Therefore, I can't really depend upon what presents to my sight. Whatever presents to my sight, I may admire it, but it is not true. Bhuma Samprasadat. Why Bhuma should mean Brahman? Because Samprasadat Adhi Upadeshat. What exists in Samprasada? Samprasada means deep sleep. Sanat Kumara teaches Sanat Kumara teaches Narada after touching it refers to the true, he brings in the topic of Bhuma after touching the Samprasada, the deep sleep state. In deep sleep state there is no volume. There is only peace. Samprasada means absolute peace. Prasadam means peace. Prasannata. Prasada means what? Prasannata. When you add some to it, it becomes absolute. Samprasada means absolute serenity. And it is referring to the deep sleep state as absolute peace. It is not the absence of everything. It is presence of absolute serenity. Deep sleep state is defined by the Upanishads as what? Samprasada. It is presence. Prasada, Samprasada means I stay there as peaceful. It is one's presence as peaceful. It is one's presence as peaceful. Ye bhi bada important. All philosophers, all thinkers, all academicians must understand this point if they have to understand Vedanta, that negation of thought is not just the negation of thought, it is presence of one's existence, free from the thought of disturbance. Absence of sound has to be interpreted as presence of silence. Therefore, negation of every thought is not blankness. Negation of every thought is presence of oneself. You cannot transcend your presence. You can transcend a notion about oneself. One can transcend one's notion about oneself. One cannot transcend one's presence. How? You can't transcend your presence. If I have to transcend my present, then I should be not present. If I am not present, then what is the proof that I have transcended my present? Yes, are problems. Therefore, all these problems get solved very easily without any complication, provided we understand. Even the negation of everything means the presence of myself. Our presence exists conditionally with everything or without everything. With anything and without anything. समझ में आ रहा है ना? With anything and without. With the thought my presence is there, without thought my presence. Therefore, keep track of your unbroken presence. Recognize your unbroken presence. And that presence has no volume. Therefore, the samprasada, deep sleep state, which is absolute shanti, is, after mentioning it, Bhagavan Sanat Kumara talks about Bhuma. Therefore, that Bhuma cannot be a volume. That Bhuma is absolute. Absolute means the other is not there. When the other is not there, oneself is still there. Absence of the other does not amount to the absence of oneself. The other is only with reference to oneself, the other than me. Otherwise, how do you arrive at the meaning of the word the other? Amazing. How do you arrive at the meaning of the word other? दूसरा किसकी अपेक्षा दूसरा? ना इसकी अपेक्षा बोलना पड़ता है, इसकी अपेक्षा ये दूसरा है, लेकिन यहाँ पर तो हर विषय दूसरा है. किसकी अपेक्षा? आत्मा की अपेक्षा सब कुछ दूसरा है. The सृष्टि is दूसरा है. Therefore, you can tell even your dearest person, अब तो दूसरा है, अब तो दूसरा है जी, अब तो दूसरा है. Only Swayam is Swayam. Everything else is दूसरा. Other, Anya. Therefore, the real correct thinking is the negation of the other does not mean the negation of oneself. Why? The negation of the other itself is my sight. That sight may not be in the form of thought, but it is still an experience. Like silence is not a thought, silence is, but still it is an experience. Every experience need not be thought. I am existent is our own existence is an experience, but it's not a thought. You may have thought about that experience, but the evidence is not in the form of a thought. Bhuma samprasadat adhi upadeshat. I have explained the sutra. Bhuma means Brahman because this word has come after mentioning the deep sleep state as absolute peace. Adhi after, Upadeshat mention. The mention of Bhuma comes after the mention of Sushupti. The mention of Bhuma comes after the mention of Sushupti, the absolute peace. Therefore, Bhuma does not mean the breath, because there is no breath in Sushupti. You can't interpret Sushupti, the peace of Sushupti, in terms of breath, etc., because they are not there. What is present? Shanti, what is present is one's peaceful presence. Therefore, deep sleep state cannot be interpreted to mean the presence of breath, etc. You don't feel your breath also there. The others, there may be breath for the others, but otherwise, one transcends the breath, the body, etc. Space. All the waking mighty things are not felt in Sushupti. Therefore, the word Bhuma cannot be interpreted to mean anything which has a volume. Brahman is neither big nor small. That is why we say asthulam ananu. What a thing. Na sthul hai, na big hai, na small hai. Asthulam ananu. Because Big is a thought, small is a thought. Whereas the sight is neither big nor small. The sight of the big, the sight of the small, the knowledge of the big, the awareness of the big, the awareness of the small is neither small nor big. And then now I am going to read the one vakyam. Bhumatveva vijignasidamvyaha iti. Sanat Kumara says, the context is, Narada. Let me repeat the story. Poor Narada was the most informed person of his times, the most intellectual, the greatest scholar. That is how he is described. And he is the one who used to move from one planet to another planet, one dunya to another dunya. A man of great accomplishments. That Narada, a man of great accomplishments, he comes to Sanat Kumara on the Ganga Tiram and he says, Hey Rishivar, hey Bhagavan, Soham Bhagavaha Shochami. I am an accomplished Narada, but then I am unhappy. There is something I am missing. Kuch to hai. There is something. I have everything, but still I am not. My happiness is not full. I don't have abundance of happiness. I have abundance of information. I have abundance of scholarship. But I don't have abundance of anandam. My anandam doesn't seem to match the kind of information. Then Sanat Kumara says, your happiness is not directly proportionate to your accomplishments. Your happiness is not like that. Your happiness is ever full. It is unlimited. It is absolute peace. Is your nature, and that happens to be your nature. It is not proportionate to your achievements. Infinity is not proportionate to. Generally, what we think is, am I happy proportionate to my education, proportionate to my wealth, proportionate to my popularity? No yoga. Because happiness is never directly proportionate to. Neither it is directly proportionate, not inversely proportionate. Ye bhi pakadna hai. Supposing I don't have anything, I become a beggar, it doesn't mean I become happy. No, it has no, it's not something that is linked to something. Therefore, Sanat Kumara says, my dear Narada, don't think your happiness would be directly proportionate to your information. Aisa kuch nahi hai. Happiness is a different thing. It's not a result. If it were a result of something, then abundance is the information, therefore the resulting happiness also should be abundant. Aisa bhi nahi. Then Narada says, तो भगवान जी मैंने सुना है भगवद दृशेभ्यः श्रुतम, मैंने सुना है तरत शोकमात्मविदिति, मैंने कहीं सुना है जो अपने आप को जानता है वो इस संसार से मुक्त हो जाता है. ऐसा मैंने सुना है आप जैसे लोगों से. This gives us an idea, the students of Vedanta. Even a man like Narada who was so big a scholar, he didn't have a clue as to what is there in Vedanta. You understand? मैंने ऐसे कहीं सुना है कि आत्मज्ञान से मुक्ति होता है, कुछ सुना है. That means what? Vedanta was never popular, I am telling you. Brahma Vidya was never. Brahma Vidya was there. Brahma Vidya was available but not greatly prevalent. Because no human being goes after himself. He goes after others' blood. He doesn't go after himself. Nobody. He doesn't make himself the topic. Wo hota nahi. Because the taste for sense pleasures is so strong. He says even moksha can wait. Let me enjoy my pleasure. Nothing seems to replace the taste for pleasures. The taste for pleasures, the taste for entertainment, the taste for eating, drinking, smelling, etc., etc. The taste, emotional satisfaction. That taste really doesn't allow man to look at himself. The taste always takes him out. Therefore, Vedanta was never popular. Don't say the Vedanta was popular. Even Dharma is bada mushkil. What is always popular in every yuga? Work, achievement, enjoyment. Karma is popular. Hope is very popular. Desire is very popular. You don't have to put placards. Please have desire. Do you have the advertisement? So I saw so many placards on the road. Please have desire. I said, okay. Therefore, you can get an idea, if Narada says, मैंने आप जैसे लोगों से कहीं सुना है कि तरति शोकम आत्मविद. A man really goes beyond sorrow by knowing himself. ऐसा मैंने कहीं सुना है. This gives us an insight into how even great scholars did not know anything about Vedanta much. Hardly. Vedanta is there in the air. That is different. Vedanta is always available in India, but the takers are very few. Vedanta is always available, but the takers are few. But even Vedanta was studied, to be very frank. Even those who did study Vedanta, they did not really take it to its logical end. They used it for again, like science, like every science we use for survival, even Vedanta we use it for survival, thoda sa. To carry it to its logical end. What is it really true? What this Vedanta says, is it really true? To be totally into the topic, get into the topic. In that manner, the takers were less. So anyway, then come back to the topic. Then Narada says in that case, hey Bhagavan, please teach me. Then he teaches. Sanat Kumara begins to teach Narada about Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya. And there he concludes his teaching like this. Bhuma. There are so many things in this world to be understood for survival and for mental peace. You need to be informed of your environment. Otherwise, your environment will swallow you. If you have to survive in this world, you must have some knowledge. But ultimately, that is where he says, ultimately what needs to be known is Bhumatveva Vijijñāsitavya. Ultimately, it is the Brahman that needs to be understood. Bhumanam Bhagavo Jijñāseti. I want to know Bhuma. He defines Bhuma. What is Bhuma, you see? Yatra nanyat pashyati. Where one doesn't see the other. Where the other is not there to be seen. Nanyat shrunoti, where the other is not to be heard. Nanyat vijanati, where the other is not there to be objectified. Sabhuma, that is unlimited. That means one's existence minus the other is Bhuma. And one's existence does not allow the other G. Infinity does not allow a parallel numerical. Does the infinity allow 100 parallel to it? Does the space allow air parallel to it? Therefore, our nature doesn't allow the other. And if I see the other, it is a sheer bhranti. I am dreaming the other, not there is other. I am only dreaming the other, not that there is the other. Anyat vijanati sabhuma atha yatra anyat pashidanyat shrunoti anyat vijanati tadalpam. And what is limitation? Seeing my presence along with the other. Along. A realm of dreaming the other is called a realm of limitation. A realm of dreaming the other is called a realm of limitation. A realm of dreaming the other is called the realm of limitation. A realm of dreaming the other is called a realm of unhappiness. Every imperfection is within the realm of dreaming the other. Why do you say the other is dreaming? Because by nature the self doesn't allow the other. As another fact. It's not possible that the water can allow a parallel wave. The nature of the wave is such, it can't allow a parallel wave because the whole wave is water. Wave is not parallel. Amazingly, it is the nature. If I should not see to it that it doesn't come, it doesn't work. It is the nature of the water that doesn't allow the wave. Not my effort doesn't allow it. If I have to make an effort to avoid a parallel wave, I will not be able to avoid it. But the very nature of the water doesn't allow a parallel wave. Similarly, the very nature of the truth, the very nature of our being does not allow the parallel other. Therefore, all that I see as the other is dreamt in our being. And until the dream is understood as a dream, dream looks waking, meaning real. There is no such a thing called waking. There is only perception with a sense of reality. Sense of reality. It's called waking. I see the world. What I dream, I see as a parallel reality. Like inside the dream, every dream object I dream and see it as a parallel reality. Me and this. And I go after the other. I dream the other and go after the other. Why? Because once I dream the other, a sense of limitation is felt in me. And in order to overcome that sense of limitation, I have to find out a strategy, and the only strategy in front of me is the other, and somehow or other I have senses, I have to play with the other. At least by playing with the other. Every other is a plaything for the truth, for the Atma, for man. Everything is a plaything. I keep playing with things to entertain myself and manage and pass time and then grow old and die. And again reappear and again keep, and because the other cannot be the other cannot disappear forever until it is falsified. The other cannot go until it is falsified. Is prakar. Now when Sanat Kumara says Bhuma is your existence minus the other, your existence which is non-dual, you don't have to minus the other. Understand, the other is never parallel to me. Understanding the truth means there is nothing parallel to the self. Object is there, but it is not parallel to me. It is not outside, it's made of me, it is me. Its identity as an object is mithya, and my identity as the subject is the satyam. Objectness is mithya. Otherness is mithya. Parallelness is mithya. Its truth, the self, is satyam. समझ गए ना? Now about this there is a doubt. Ji. What is the doubt? Let me tell you. Bhumete kim prano bhuma. Is breath the bhuma here? Ahosvit paramatma iti. Or is it Paramatma? Is breath the bhuma or Paramatma? Is the akasha the bhuma or Paramatma? Or prano va ashayaha bhumaniti sannidhanat prano bhuma iti pratibhati. It is said, they say your asha, the hope to achieve one day. Man lives with the hope. Sanat Kumara says this, hope to achieve. You say he is mighty, minus that. Every living being functions through that hope. He has to, otherwise he can't survive for tomorrow. कुछ तो अच्छा हो जाएगा, कुछ तो अच्छा हो जाएगा. Hope. The solution for every problem of mine, I put it in the future, so that it can help me to relax in the present. ठीक हो जाएगा, his conclusion helps me to relax in the present. It's a strategy. Hope is a strategy to relax in the present. अगर hope नहीं तो I can't relax in the present. कल तक हो जाएगा भी चिंता मत करो, so that you can have your Lenten rest. Asha, some hope is always. But now Sanat Kumara says your mighty hope is nothing if you are not alive. So your breath is also almighty. Your breath is also mighty. Now the question is, now what is Bhuma here? Is the hope Bhuma? Is the breath Bhuma? Or is the space Bhuma? What is Bhuma here? Is the doubt. And in answer to that doubt, the sutra says Bhuma means Brahman is Bhuma. Why? Samprasadadati upadeshati. Because the word Bhuma comes in the context of the deep sleep state. The Bhuma Shabda comes in the context of describing deep sleep state. Deep sleep state is not a nothingness. It is one's peaceful presence. That is Bhuma. One's non-dual presence is Bhuma. One's silent presence. And if one is, it is very difficult. Imagine what is it like being not there. Not to be there means to be there to register my own absence. ये कैसे होगा जी? बड़ा problem. How does one become absent? I can lose my wrappings. वो तो जो हम, when I wake up, I put on the wrappings. All that I wake up to, I can sleep to. But my existence I can't wake up to. यही असली रहस्य है. Okay, this sutra is over. Then the next sutra, and one more sutra in this topic. Next ji. Dharmopapattescha. You see, it is something, there is a way of communication. This is a lion. Why? Because it has a mane. You know mane? Kesari mark. It has a kesari. Kesari means, that mane. Now I give one more logic. Because this is a lion. Why? Because it has a mane. Just because it has a mane, why should it be a lion? Because no other animal has a mane. Negating others. This is a lion. Why? It has a mane. Just because it has a mane, why should it be a lion? Because no other animal has it. Bhuma means Brahman. Why? Because Brahman fulfills the conditions of being, the conditions of the qualities of Bhuma. And the quality, the nature of Bhuma that is described here by Sanat Kumara is enjoyed only by the self and nothing else. Breath can't be non-dual. Hope cannot be non-dual. This non-dualness makes Bhuma the self, and nothing else can be the meaning of Bhuma, because nothing else has the quality of being, the nature of being not dual. You can't come across a non-dual breath. What is this non-dual breath? Along with the breath, there are so many other things. When you have breath, there is a doctor also monitoring it. What about that? Inka breath theek hai ki nahi? Breath implies so many other things. Therefore, breath is not non-dual. Hope is not non-dual. Therefore, merely just because it is universal, it need not be the truth. It should be non-dual. Breath is universal. Breath is mighty, but that's not the truth. It is a mighty thing, but it is still dreamt. There are mighty things which can be dreamt in the unlimited. Breath is mighty. Mind is mighty. Thought is mighty. Space is mighty. Hope is mighty. But that's not the truth. Why? Because they are not non-dual. Non-dual is it gives you a beautiful direction of thinking. Because non-dual is a condition. If truth is defined as Advitiyam, our bhranti of imagining, our habit of imagining this could be Brahma, this could be truth, that could be truth, it just evaporates. Because non-dualness is the nature of only one's, the observer. The subject alone is the non-dual. He can stand, he doesn't allow anything, because everything has to fall in his sight. If everything falls in my sight, then my sight is not dual. Not only to begin with we say it falls in the sight, ultimately it is understandable, it is made of the sight. Minus the sight, there is no object, there is no form. You don't have to, in fact, even for a small bubble to rise, as it rises, it carries water in it, with which it is inseparable. Okay, can it ever try to be parallel to water? Just amazing, Ji. Amazing example it is. A bubble, even if it tries to defy water and stand separate, independent, can it? It's not possible. The nature of water doesn't allow the bubble to stand separate from it. Similarly, the nature of the subject does not allow the object to stand. Therefore, I have given the logic. What is it? Dharma upapattescha. The description of Bhuma applies only to Brahman. The description of Bhuma doesn't apply to anything else. Like the mane applies only to the lion and it doesn't apply. There are two sentences. It applies only assertion and negation. Assertion, what is it? Only lion has a mane. And negation, nothing else. It's like saying, I can do only this. Enough. No, I can do this and nothing else. One is Vidhi Vakya, the other is Nisheda Vakya. Both are there. Vidhi Vakya, Nisheda Vakya. It's like speak truth and don't speak lies. One is Vidhi, the other is Nisheda. Do this and don't do that. That is why when you say spit here, you have to write don't spit everywhere. Otherwise what happens is spit here as though it is a mandate. Spit here. Everybody spits here. Hey Bhagavan. This is another big, it's creating a mental problem, Spit here means as though it is necessary for you. To train people to think independently is going to take a long time for so many, almost half of the world. It's not like a small country. It's like a man with 2 children is different from a man with 25 children. Hey Rama, to manage all that, the entire brood of 25, जिनका नाम भी सबका, सारे नाम भी ठीक से मालूम नहीं, the parents. How to manage? Therefore, it is always better to give both Vidhi and Pratisheda to an average man. For a brilliant man, Vidhi is enough. For a brilliant man, Vidhi is enough. You don't have to give Nisheda. But Veda gives both Vidhi and Nisheda. Do this and don't do that. Yes. Dharmopapattescha. So this I have explained. So only the self can be non-dual. Breath may be mighty but not non-dual. Hope can be mighty but not non-dual. May be useful but not non-dual. It may run the show but not non-dual. A lot of things run the show, but it's not the truth. It's not non-dual. Whereas we gape at the mighty things, and those which run the show, always. In Bombay, when we were all studying, a lot of people used to come, organize everything. Secretary of the mission. They will all come and spend money to organize everything for Swamiji to give a talk, and we are all there to listen. And themselves are nowhere to be seen. Yes, the organizers, they will get punya all right, but jnana nahi milega. Jnana, vichar nahi milega. You can't really enjoy the beauty of the Shastra. You can't enjoy the glory of this Vedanta, this great tradition of this land. You may only believe there is something called a great tradition, but it's a belief, but you can't see for yourself. Therefore, it's like that. They run the show, but they are not a part of the class. Similarly, there are so many factors in this creation. They run the show, like Devatas run the show. The sun runs the show. The air runs the show. The mind runs the show. Laws run the show, but they are not non-dual. Therefore, learn what to admire. If at all there is something to be admired, that is your presence, the non-dual presence. The subject is, without whose sight nothing can be proved as alone. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.